What up, peeps? It's your Super Sketch artist, Antonio, back again with another unboxing review. Today was a doozy, so let's jump right into it. First off, we have the Kree Accuser. For 25 points, you get Kree and Soldier keyword, just like Ronan the Accuser super rare that we had already seen in the first day. You get what I call a keyword buster. You choose that keyword that in either sealed or constructed play, definitely constructed play, you're probably going to run up against the same keyword and they get +1 attack and damage. All for 25 points. And them on their own for 25 points, running around with sidestep, precision strike with an 11-3. If you hit them 4-3, which is the base damage that most Heroclix pieces do, now you're going to have to face up against an 11-4. That's amazing for 25 points. So economical. I love the sculpt. I love that they use the ladies. I love how tall they look. Just in the video, they looked so cool. So I can't wait to have those in hand. I'm a generic fan, so kudos to WizKids for making not only the choice to make them the ladies because they just look very cool, but also to pack so much power into 25 points. Also, giving PD team ability just means that when they shoot you, if it's a whole bunch of them, that defense is being lowered. So that 10-3 or 11-4 is going to hurt. I absolutely love it. Next up, we have Drax. He is a rare, and they definitely put him in the rare slot for a reason. Drax giving him power to all Guardians anywhere on the map is huge. Now, the Guardians are mainly a range-based team, realistically. But with the addition of you really could make a close combat based Guardians team if you actually wanted. And knowing that we're gonna get the Juggerduck, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this set, he is a close combat piece. So in the comic book, Thanos wins, or not Thanos wins, the Cosmic Ghost Rider storyline, him and Cable were in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Hopefully we get a Cable. That would be cool if we get a Cable with the Guardians of the Galaxy keyword, because he was the leader of that team. That would be amazing. And all of that whole team that Juggerduck was on, I would love if that team was in here. That would be cool with Guardians sub-theme. So I would love if that whole team was in here. But this Drax, starting off with a 19 defend, 2 clicks of 19 defend. That's amazing. So him already giving him power in general, but just also for all these range-based pieces like Rocket and Star-Lord, on their own, they're kind of weak, but you have Drax as their bodyguard, which I talked about yesterday. Having that bodyguard, Drax does exactly what I want a bodyguard to do. He not only gives them a bump in defense, but also a bump in damage if you do come up and base them. I absolutely love this piece. I'll probably never play him at 50 points, but even at 50 points, him having an 18 defense still gives a good defensive bump to the rest of the Guardians, and that's exactly what you need. A great rare. The sculpt is amazing. Him jumping with the 2. Thank you, WizKids, for making such a great sculpt, and for actually like putting swords in his hand and not just like making him have double fists, but putting the swords in his hand. Absolutely perfect. I've seen the sculpt in person at Worlds. It looks amazing. So with that, that's another thing that he does is he gives Mastermind to somebody. So if you have a piece that you don't want to get hurt, you could potentially shrug off that damage to him. I would never probably do it, but there are combinations that you can play, like with the Christmas box set that Cosmo gives the free support and all that stuff. He's all the rage now, but if you actually just play a Guardians team together, you could do some cool stuff with this Drax. I can't wait to see this piece. Another piece we have is this Iron Man, an uncommon, got some really good keywords, scientist, armor. Those are some good keywords. Of course, Avengers is amazing. Him having leadership and knowing that someone's probably going to be equipped. Nowadays, most teams have at least one character that's equipped. Now he gets that super duper leadership and has the ability to make the sentries that give enhancement. So again, teaming up with the Captain America from the Black Panther set, now Avengers, when he rolls leadership, gets not only will they get +1 against whatever team ability they chose, but then +1 damage, possibly another bump on damage thanks to this Iron Man making the sentries. I absolutely love it. This Iron Man, even like I just said that I don't like playing pieces at their higher point value, and This Iron Man is one of those pieces where for 75 points, he doesn't do enough for me. I do wish he had 4 damage. I do wish they did a little bit more with Iron Man in general. They usually give him he has a set kind of power set that he gets, a power kit that he gets. They were just talking about this on the Dial H podcast. Go listen to that if you haven't. They were talking about how Iron Man always just gets energy explosion, energy explosion, energy explosion. And there are different ways to show that Iron Man can blast a whole bunch of people. And the crazy thing about this Iron Man is they only gave him 1 bolt. 1 bolt energy, exclusive energy explosion pieces make me kind of mad, because that dual bolt, you can just deal out a better amount of damage. So this Iron Man isn't bad, but if I'm going to play him, he probably will get played at the 40-point line just to make more space on an Avengers team. I like some of the other Avengers, some of the other Iron Mans that we've gotten previous to this one. The one that gave everybody Precision Strike was amazing. The 200-point monster that we got is good. Now that I think about it, I'm going to play him with the Prime Rhodey that I have and just bump Rhodey up to make 4 drones so they're just an even 300 points and just run it. Anyway, this Iron Man's okay. Doesn't do anything too crazy. He's all right. He's okay. He's all right. The other big boy that we need to talk about is Thanos. OMG. I am a Thanos fan. Like I said before, Infinity Gauntlet was my first big storyline that I came into when I started reading comics. Thanos is just one of my favorite pieces. I have Thanos stuff all around here. He's one of my favorite pieces to draw, like characters to draw. I love Thanos, like as a character. He's just so cool. He's done so many different things. I've definitely read this story that this figure comes from. People have already been complaining about what he's going to do to the pulp format, because at 300 points, he looks very, 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 very strong. But Pulp has some answers. They have answers. You have to hit some things. And this Thanos can do some amazing, he does amazing things. 14-5 with a 20 defense and hypersonic with 10 movement, 6 range. So he has a 13 movement, whether he's hitting up close, or he has a 13 square swing, whether he's hitting up close or whether he's hitting from range. I love that they did that to kind of make both of them even, not you have to use one or the other. I absolutely love the versatility that this piece offers. Knowing that the pieces on the sideline, say like an Ares, he doesn't have blades on his dial, but Ares has blades, and Ares is a deity. So knowing that you can just put Ares on your sideline anyway because you want to use Ares, and then take the blades from Ares, this piece is going to be so good. I want him so bad. I can't wait to paint him up, because from what they look like in the unboxing, he looked like he didn't have lots of shadow on him, so I can't wait to paint him and make him look real nice. Get some good accents on that skull face that he has. I'm already gonna mod up them hands so it can have some energy coming off of it, because he needs it, to me. So I can't wait to have this piece in hand, add him to my Thanos collection. I still need to get Cap Thanos. That's the only Thanos I do not have, and every time I've went to go pull the trigger, I just never did. But this Thanos, being able to choose powers from, you know, cosmic or deity characters, there's so many in the game. The big thing about this is the Reap trait. I can see him actually doing good in 300-point constructed as well, simply because you know someone's going to play Butterfly, so them Butterflies now become a liability, where he could potentially just get points off of killing these, you know, or KOing these pieces that cost no points. It's so many bystander generation pieces in the game right now. Again, Butterfly being the top one that gets used all the time by people. So knowing that Thanos can swat these butterflies like they're nothing, and they again become a liability, he can potentially use still energy to heal back, and then also get points off of them too. Yes, please. Yes. He's great. Scott Porter, you're 25 points. Now you're 35 points. Give me some points. Oh, constructs. Oh, this chainsaw. Give me these 10 points off of something that you put out there so it can potentially hurt somebody but then die, and you don't care because it costs no points. Now if this Thanos is out here, and he will be out there, he is going to be a huge, huge problem, and I cannot wait to see it. Now, the last figure that got shown today was Juggernaut. OMG. Anyone who knows me knows and has played against me recently in the last Rock tournaments knows that I love to play the House of X Juggernaut. He is one of the best pieces. To me, he's the best championship piece that they've ever made, period. He's just absolutely amazing. What he does is he just wrecks shop, and if you're not ready for him, which most people are not, he wrecks shop. He comes to, yeah. So this Juggernaut has big shoes to fill for me, and he does that, in my opinion. Not only does he reduce penetrating damage, and he has impervious for most of his dial, and he has safeguard outwit, which is exactly what he needs so that you can't outwit his charge, you can't outwit his imperv, the things that need to keep him going. This Juggernaut, especially when you team him with the Crimson Gem, makes it so that he can full move charge, and unlike the House of X version, he got an upgrade because he can zigzag and move, and I absolutely love that. And just running, clearing a path when he destroys the object, when he destroys terrain with the Crimson Gem, which is one of the things that the Crimson Gem does, or just picking up an object or a piece of blocking on his way. I absolutely love that. He ignores elevated when he moves too, so you really can't escape him if you try to get up on elevated. Knowing that you can potentially deal 6 damage on that first attack, and if you are cracking somebody upside the head with some terrain, with an object, which is terrain, or block, or just a regular piece of terrain or whatever, knowing the terrain is out there, knowing he could potentially deal 6-7 damage and is penetrating, and then on top of that, he gets to say, oh, well, now take 2 damage on top of that to people that are adjacent, and it's penetrating. Oh, you had high defense and I wasn't going after you. Well, I'm going to deal whatever damage to this person that I need off the map, and then deal 2 damage to you that's penetrating. I absolutely love this piece. I can't wait to field him. He is not unique. So if you play 2 of them, which I don't necessarily do, but this is such a good Juggernaut. If you play 2 of them, you are in for some pain. Team him up with my homeboy, my favorite piece in the game right now, Swamp Thing, and just have him carry Swamp Thing across the map and smack somebody up, and then after you do that, drop Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing drops a plant marker onto somebody and wallops them for another 5, because whenever I play Swamp Thing, he always has Chthon and Amit on him. That's such a great combo. If you haven't used it, use it. You're welcome. It causes pain. The Crimson Gem. It gives super strength, it gives destroy blocking when you move, and it gives safeguard mind control. Now, this is 10 points. I kind of wish that this was maybe 5 points. I don't see the value outside of the Juggernaut in this so much, especially on the characters that you get it free. Most Colossuses, especially say like the Prime Colossus, which is very popular, he already destroys blocking when he moves, and he already has Battle Fury, so he has protected mind control. Now, if you just want to give it to, say, the rare version, the normal rare version of Colossus for free, to make it so that, you know, he can destroy, I think he can already destroy blocking, but just so that he can't be mind controlled. I don't know if he has super strength off the top of my head, but I just don't see the value of this one. This one's kind of a letdown. I do wish this gave you safe, like he can reduce penetrating damage. I would have paid a little bit more, as a matter of fact, for the Crimson Gem. I would have paid maybe 15-20 points if it would have even maybe gave me invincible. It didn't need to give a stat bump or anything like that, but I do wish that it at least, like, I do wish it gave you charge, realistically. I kind of do, because it turns you into the Juggernaut, and one thing that the Juggernaut does is move. So being able to bestow the powers of the Juggernaut on anybody, I would have paid prime, you know, real estate with point cost for that. I'm not afraid to pay for that. I know that the community at large doesn't like to. They want things to be cheap. But for me, the championship trophy that came with Deadpool is 20 points. The Necro Sword was 15 points. WizKids, let's make some more of these expensive. The Exo Specs was 13 points. Let's make, and that was used all over the place. Necrosword was used all over the place. Why? Because it was effective and it was powerful, but it was effective. If you would have made the Crimson Gem to, you know, maybe give you a stat bump on your speed or something like that, if you didn't want to necessarily give charge, but having the Juggernaut does more than, being the Juggernaut is more than just I break through stuff and you can't mind control me. It's more than that. And I wish I would have been represented here, and it's not for me. So this object, I just don't like it at all. We also got to see a one-shot, a Darkhold one-shot. So that makes me believe now that we've already seen, if you haven't, go to HG units and look up the Doctor Strange chase that we've already seen his dial. We've already seen that. Make sure you look that up, because it says that you can flip over a already used Darkhold. Well, first off, that Doctor Strange comes with 3 Darkhold one-shots, which you've already seen one in Soul Siphon, and I think it's another one as well. But this one, the Diabolical Bargain, at the beginning of the turn, you know, you may deal a friendly character 1 unavoidable. If you do that, remove an action token from them. It has its uses. I don't know necessarily how quick I would be to deal a character 1 unavoidable, but again, like I mentioned in day 1, being able to kind of customize how you play, being able to push somebody onto a click that they might need is great. So we'll see. And removing a token is always a good thing, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. The other one shot that we saw was the Mind Gem. Now we just need the Soul Gem and we'll be good. But the Mind Gem, when you hit somebody after resolutions, you choose a power and they can't use that power. So we've seen a lot of that in the game as of late. Those abilities or powers that take away a power without using Outwit, because there's so many pieces that get around or that have cosmic energy, or just say you can't, or just like this Juggernaut that is protected Outwit even though he doesn't have cosmic energy. So using the Mind Gem on someone like the Juggernaut and taking away his defensive power and then, you know, doing what you need to do is great. And that's definitely well worth the 10 points. And again, just like I was talking about with the Crimson Gem, that 10 points seems viable for what it does. The 10 points, now this is just for me, my humble opinion, it doesn't seem viable outside of that Juggernaut piece. With the Juggernaut piece, it seems great because of what he does. Outside of that, no. So other than that, let's talk about the legacies. The first legacy card that we got to see was the Iron Man. And I have this Iron Man. It's one of my favorite Iron Man sculpts that I kept just because of the suit and the sculpt, like the suit that he's in and the sculpt of him kind of like levitating, kind of flying up. I thought it was really, really cool. This was almost like a meta piece in the day. I kept all of the Marvel 10 and the DC 10 pieces. So this was a great piece to choose. It's a lot of Iron Man in this set. That would make essentially 4 actual Iron Man, 5 if you count the Sentry as an Iron Man. But that's 5 Iron Men that you can get. Yeah, 5 Iron Men you can essentially get from playing in this set. So, and now that I think about it, I know gauntlets are a chase. Can we see Chase Iron Man with the gauntlet? Because him and Captain America did both have the chase. Can we see Captain America with the chase, with the gauntlet? That would be a cool redo. But this Iron Man legacy card, they dropped his points drastically. First off, originally he was 225 and 125. They dropped him down to 150 point values. That is a stark point reduction. And this is actually what you need in the game to do legacies. If you're going to do legacies, you have to adapt their point values to what the game is now, especially if the power doesn't match. And 225 back in the day, I always ask my friend, like, how did we play this game? 225 in a 300-point game, you get one other character. And he wasn't so strong. He was strong, but he wasn't so strong that he could carry a team by himself. So most people played him at the 125. With this one, it says when Iron Man would take damage from an equipped character, he can instead take no damage and roll a d6. Deal him 1 unavoidable. Again, that's very powerful. That's a trait. So that allows him to just essentially just shrug things off. And if he rolls that 4 through 6, he takes no damage and he just takes no damage. And that's pretty cool. Also, he has a special power, which he can, you know, free choose 2 combat values and bump one up 2 and the other one down 2. So a smart player will definitely know exactly what to do so that you can still utilize that. Oh, I don't need this here. More likely the movement, or even the range sometimes, because the range is a combat value. So you could potentially bump down your range, or you could bump up your range and then bump down your movement. So you only got to move a few squares, but you get to shoot further. So it's a give and take, which I actually like. I really like this Iron Man. Also, he has leadership and perplex. Leadership is always a good thing. Perplex is always a good thing, especially when he doesn't need line of fire. So that means he can perplex through different characters. So at 50 points, he's still pretty good, but I would definitely play him at 100 points. Next up for legacy cards, we have the Machine Smith. So the Machine Smith is one of those characters where he's 90 points right now. I'm predicting he's probably going to be around like 50 or 40 points. He only lives for, he has 6 clicks of life. So maybe I'll make him 50 points. He used to come with, he would make the robot dupe. I like physical representations of my stuff. Having the bystander tokens isn't good enough for me. So I found this old little like droid from that my godson had. We all love Star Wars in my family, and he gave me this little droid, and I put it on the robot dupe, and the robot dupe could do exactly what essentially the adaptoids can do. So I think that he's going to have a power exactly like what I think he's actually gonna make the adaptoids too. That would be cool if he could actually make the adaptoids. I love this dial as it was right now. Starts with Perplex, starts with Energy Explosion, Special Power, Invuln. He gets regen on the back end. I love this piece. Next piece we have is this Captain America. We've already known that this Captain America was going to come for a long time, but knowing that it's one of the only 7, because we only got 7 legacy cards this time, which is huge, I think. And I actually think it's the way that they should go. Knowing how quick the sets come out and knowing how large it is and how daunting, it's very daunting to try to collect so many legacy cards, knowing that essentially you only get them when you buy a brick, or if you have you win a tournament and whoever your judges uses the legacy card for the open bricks as prize support. Knowing that that's a thing, I hope that WizKids actually sticks with this. Do less of that stuff and I'm actually kind of sad that in the play at home kits, we didn't have legacy cards in there too. I think all non-blind actual like booster stuff for Marvel and DC should always come with some kind of legacy, something extra for it being non-blind. Just throw something in there, throw a one shot, throw a team up, throw something in there. But anyways, we've known about this for a long time. His values are good. He's 100 points as it stands. I hope they just slash him right in half. He lives for about, how long? He's got 6 clicks of life. Make him 50 points. His values don't do anything too crazy. He doesn't have any team abilities, which they could, of course, add on. I'd assume they would give him Avengers. I hope that he does something cool. Maybe he'll have you know what I'm thinking now that it just hit me. He'll probably have the qualifying name for Mjolnir. Knowing that the Crimson Gem had Colossus and Juggernaut on it, the Mjolnir will probably have qualifying name for all the characters that have picked up Mjolnir. So we could see a Mjolnir that has a Beta Ray build, because Beta Ray did pick up Mjolnir. We'll have Cap. We could possibly have Storm. We could have some pieces in there that could pick up Mjolnir. That actually makes me kind of happy to see what Mjolnir is and to see what it does. But that Captain America, I expect him to be actually very good. Next up, we have Molecule Man. Now, most people saw this piece and automatically are like, well, he's banned right now in silver because of how oppressive he was with everything. But on top, like, he has a really good dial for the points. I assume they're going to shave some of that off. I'm expecting them to shave at least 25 points off of him and make him 75 points, and then make him either 25 or make him 30, keep that 30-point line the way it is. But Molecule Man is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. So I would love to see them make him into a a monster, actually. If they're not going to make one that's a high point, just monster, I would like to see them do something great with this legacy card. Ditch the whole I make blocking and all that terrain stuff. Ditch all that and make him a monster. Like, do that, WizKids. That's what I would actually love, and I hope that they do. Next up, we have one of my favorite pieces is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is... This piece was meta, 1000%. This was a meta piece. This was a meta piece. And at 100 points, she was absolutely meta. She did exactly what you needed to do. Hypersonic, that hurt you when she moved through you. She made the Chewy bystander that could hurt you. That combo was just insane. I think it might have won Worlds one year or something, her and Black Widow. But this piece, if you just reduce her, she's got 2 stop clicks. If you reduce her in today's game, anything over 100 points is too much for the average person. It just is. So 150, I don't see her staying at. I see them dropping it down to 175. That's what it seems like, because her other point value was 95. I do see them giving her a point reduction. She might get the Chewy bystander still. They might take that away, since we just got the Chewy bystander with the Nick Fury and you know, from the Black Panther set. Who knows? But just off rip, her having hypersonic 12 movement, if they keep that they might change that. They might change it. They might change it. This is what I was talking to somebody about, is we love these legacy cards because when we get them, we automatically assume that they're going to be exactly like they were when we first had them. That's not the case. We might actually have a different speed power instead. I'm actually hoping that. I'm not a fan of hypersonic. I would like maybe like a charge running shot type of thing. I would like that. But the hypersonic that hurt you, her having 12-4, potentially 13 with Avengers team ability, I could see them even possibly giving her cosmic energy, just because, maybe even shield team ability. Who knows? They could really give her something, maybe even a wild card. Who knows? But this piece is definitely going to see play again. And maybe she might be like the Starro that we've been seeing, where you play one that's a legacy and you play one that's the old version too, and you play them together on a team. Who knows? Who knows? Next up, we have the Collector. This Collector sculpt is almost the same pose and everything off of the booster art, which I absolutely love. WizKids, let me do some booster art. But what he's going to do, I don't know, because all of the Elders of the Universe from the Black Panther set. Oh, that's another thing that Scott Porter got mixed up, if you hadn't noticed already. He is from the Black Panther set, and I think it was Machine Smith that he might have said is from the I think he said he was from Captain America and Avengers, and he was from Black Panther set, but they got him mixed up a little bit. But that's okay, because Scott Porter does so much, so I'm sure it was just a little snafu. But with the Collector, he has an extra click. All of those pieces have extra clicks when they become equipped. So I assume that he's going to have the same type of thing that the 001 has, whereas like if a character is equipped or has this or has like a one shot or a mystery card or any of those type of things, then you get that extra click of life from the Collector. I hope they do something cool with him. This guy could come and steal your stuff when you used to have to leave it on the map and then go up and equip it. Those days. I'm so glad that we got away from that people can just start with whatever they want to use and not have to equip it. It makes so much sense. I'm glad that WizKids is progressively continuing to just get better with those little things that they can kind of fine tune. But I hope that Collector does something worth collecting. So we'll see. Last but not least, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Fury. Balls of Fury is what he was nicknamed, and he was a problem. And he did the same thing that I think the rivalry card is going to do, which was people would play him as an ID piece with the shield level 7, bring him out for 5 points, let him do exactly whatever the heck he wants to, so it essentially give him a 12-4 with 9 range that sees through everything, and he would just obliterate somebody and say you can't use this, and then all of a sudden somebody else can attack, and then he could either finish you off or you could bump up his damage. Back then you could perplex up damage, or you could perplex up damage to insane numbers, and just have him hit somebody for like 7 damage. That's ridiculous. So I'm hoping that he does not do anything like that. I assume he's probably going to see through everything, because this is supposed to represent him having to watch his eyes. We can't get too far away from what this character is supposed to represent. So I assume that he's going to see through everything with improved movement. I don't know if he's going to do the whole cut powers off. That still is a thing. So we'll see. This piece is going to be super expensive for anyone to buy. I'm lucky that I have 2. So I'm going to put him up for sale and fund me getting some of this collector's trove. I got an extra of him, Molecule Man, Iron Man, and actually Captain Marvel, now that I think about it. So I'm going to sell all those guys to try to fund me buying this brick that now has 12 boosters. But those are all the legacy pieces. This Nick Fury was 120. I see him being maybe like 75, 80 points, maybe 100. They might shave a little bit off of him and just make him not as lethal and make him 100 points, make him ignore everything. But the whole, like, now that you can't bump up damage, it just makes him a little less oppressive. But even at 100 points, you can get him up to 7 damage if he still does the, oh, I get +1 attack and damage. Knowing that the Kree Sentry and the Ronin and everything like that, if he still does that, I call you and I get the +1 attack and damage against you. We're gonna see. I can't wait. And knowing we have to wait all the way until next year, which isn't far away, but knowing Collector's Trove, I'm expecting it in February. I don't think it's going to be in January, knowing that we just got Black Panther. I don't think it is. They could do it that quick. I think they're going to probably do it in February, but knowing that he's going to be out there, that legacy card is going to be so expensive if he's good. All of the legacy cards are going to be expensive if they're good on the secondary market. But with that being the case, what say you? What do you think about this unboxing so far? What do you think about, so far we've seen more than half of a brick. What do you think? Do you see the value in it? We've seen 3 super rares, we've seen 2 objects, and we've seen a plethora of one-shots, which are going to be very important in the game going forward. What say you? How are you feeling? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like the sculpts? How do you feel about what seal play is going to be like with this set? Because that's a big thing for me, is the seal play going to be fun? Do you see any pieces already that are going to be used and constructed? I know I do. Thanos in particular is going to be used. Someone's going to use him in constructed. Just know. Some people might say no, but he is going to get used. There's my heater again. Thank the Lord for heat, keeping me warm. I do this in my basement. But with that being the case, again, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube things. But please, in the comments, let me know. What say you? Let me know what you think. I love talking clicks. As always, it's your super sketch artist, Antonio. As always, be good to yourself. Be good to others. Go be super.